What's up guys, it's Frogfadoc, and at long last, this is the Cookie Tin PC. You can open the lid for easy upgrades. You can carry it around to whatever destination you need, all while being smaller than the original laptop that it used to be. In part 1, we tore apart my old laptop and shoved it into this tin. In part 2, we fixed our boot drive issues and actually cut the holes for the ports in the side of the Cookie Tin PC so you could actually use them. And we even, for the first time, booted the PC in the tin. And now, 3 years after starting this project, we are finally finishing the Cookie Tin PC. But you know what? Part of me is kind of glad that this project took so long. Why, I hear you cry? Because if it didn't take this long, then this video wouldn't be sponsored by PCBWay. That's right, we got a sponsor on this thing, hell yeah! But more about them later on in the video. Anyways, let's check in with Past Me to see why this project took so long, and to find out what the new plan for the Cookie Tin PC is. Let's go! So, why has it taken so long? Well, the simple fact of the matter is that 1, life gets in the way, and 2, I kind of went a little bit over my head on this project, I believe. My main concern the whole time is trying to get the motherboard off of the tin so that it didn't short out or anything. And for that, my idea was to, well, use standoffs and then solder or glue the standoffs to here. I've now come to realize that it's a bit of a stupid decision and it's really just overcomplicating everything. So back to the drawing board on that one. I've come up with a new plan on how to tackle the Cookie Tin PC, and really it's a plan to bring the Cookie Tin PC back to what it originally was. As you may recall in part 1 of this saga, back in July of 2021, which is now 3 years ago, when my laptop was basically falling apart on me, I went and nailed all of the components onto a board. And that in and of itself was pretty simple and easy to do. And it was just basically me mucking around with hardware, not even making a video at the time. Why am I bothering with standoffs when I could just put a piece of wood in the tin? Let's take all of this out for a moment and let's really investigate. As you can see, we've already cut out the ports to have a little bit of a spacing between the bottom and where the motherboard will sit. So really, if I just got a solid piece of wood, just not even too thick, let's measure that. I only need a piece of wood that's about 5 or so mil thick. My basic plan is put a solid piece of wood in there that gets the thickness of the ports back up to where I originally want it to be, and then just drill holes into the piece of wood and then just screw the motherboard in. Instead of worrying about standoffs, just piece of wood, screw it in. Back to basics like this project originally was. So that's going to be our new game plan. I should be able to cut it and sand it to size so that it's just a friction fit, so that I don't need to like glue it in or do anything. Screw the motherboard in, make room for the power button and other ports I want to include, and we should be done. So that is the new simplified Cookie Tin PC plan. Now, it's just time to get some wood. But where can one find wood in South Australia? Well, there is one place that comes to mind. We're heading in to Bunnings Warehouse, and we're heading on down to the timber section with the Cookie Tin PC. After heading down to the timber section, I realized that all the pieces were way too big, and I didn't really want to cut it all down and waste all the excess wood. Luckily though, these little MDF placemat things seem to be the right size and the right fit for the tin. Even the corner radius matched that of the actual cookie tin itself, which is pretty surprising. And the best part is, it was only $1.98 each. What a deal! Time to take these home and put them in the tin. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is what I bought. 3 small sheets of MDF. Now, why did I buy these compared to a solid piece of timber, which is what I wanted? The simple fact is, they did not have pieces small enough. Thanks, Bunnings. So I didn't want to buy an absolutely massive piece and then cut it down and then waste it all. So instead, I think these pieces work fantastically for what I need, and let me explain why. First and foremost, to get the thickness, we can very easily just glue these together. We can pretty easily just screw things into this and it should hold relatively well, especially with 3 of these glued together. I think that should be pretty good, pretty strong as well once you stack them. Now if we get this guy out, there's more reasons as to why this wood's pretty damn good for what I want to do here. Another reason why these pieces of wood are so fantastic is because, well, if you look inside, you'll see that the radius of the wood exactly matches the internal radius of the cookie tin. It's hard to show with these large pieces since I can't shove it in, but I tried it with some smaller pieces and yeah, it's an exact match, the internal radius of the cookie tin and the piece of wood. And in general, like, the size of the wood is not that much bigger than the cookie tin itself, so it only will require some minimal trimming. And again, check out this outside radius too. Oh, look at that. Look at that. You cannot tell me this isn't meant to be. That's something I said a lot in part 1. Look at that. You can't tell me that this isn't meant to be. But it's true though. So pretty much I'll just take like a few of these, glue them together, cut it to size, and then it should just be able to slot in pretty damn easily. I'm still debating whether I should go with 2 or 3. I just bought 3 to be safe, because why not? And even when I do trim down the sides, I'll be able to use probably a spare one to get the radius. And also, you see the general floppiness of the tin? How weak it is? Well, that's where this wood comes in. Having this wood at the bottom will strengthen the entire base of the cookie tin, so there you go. Well, I say, enough chit chat. Let's put some boards and some tins. Let's put some motherboard on the board and then in the tin to make it the cookie tin. Let's just start gluing the stuff together. Alrighty-o. Wood. Glue. Let's glue these two together. Alright, we've got some paper and a random piece of concrete to help spread the glue around. Alright, gluing this is simple enough. Here we've got some PVA craft glue that I bought from Officeworks. Do I have to snip this off? I think I do. Alright, we got the Fiskars. Surely this will be enough. That'll do. Alright, you take your glue and you just glop it on. What really matters is spreading it out, which is where the piece of concrete comes in. This is a stupid idea. It's so dirty, this thing. Let me quickly wash it. Alright, there's gonna be wet concrete bits throughout this whole thing forever, so this is a stupid idea. Why did I ever think this is a good idea? You know what? I think this is fine. Then we take this, like so. That's why I got the piece of paper here. We press it down. This actually makes more sense of actually evenly distributing the weight on the wood. And you can see the glue's coming out. I mean, we could use a bit more weight, but it's fine. Yeah, I absolutely could have done that a little bit better. Oh well. There are many things wrong with what I did there, especially going with MDF. Did you know that MDF, aka medium density fiberboard, can give you cancer? What? It's true. It mostly has to do with the really small wood particles that start flying around once you cut the stuff, but mostly the glue that is used to attach it all together, especially if the glue contains formaldehyde. Think of it like asbestos, but not as bad as asbestos. You really don't want to be breathing in asbestos. Or do you? Unfortunately, in these upcoming clips, I decided to do everything the stupid way. And I would definitely advise you to not do what I did in these upcoming parts. Realistically, I should have used plywood instead of these dumb MDF sheets. And honestly, I kind of just took the easy way out, and this was really the only thing that was near the size that I needed at Bunnings, so I just kind of went with it. Anyways, let's watch me unsafely cut MDF. Alright, now it's time to trim the wood down. Because I didn't clean the glue off while it was drying, I don't know why, there's a lot of dry glue that we have to sort of cut and scrape off. And honestly, it's pretty easy to do. You just grab your knife and you scrape it off, but yeah, this is mostly for the large chunks. To really get into the smaller parts, we're gonna have to start sanding it. Finding out what size you need is pretty easy. You just mark it up with a pen, and that's really about it. And now it's time to Dremel it. This is a part of the video where all the cancerous MDF dust goes everywhere. I was wearing a mask while doing this, but obviously not like a proper mask, just like a really basic one. Something really cool about using a Dremel is that if you do it for long enough, the wood has a chance of catching on fire. You can see it starting to smoke, it's getting that hot. And the edges of the wood are practically burnt, which I guess helps create a seal for the end of the wood, I don't know. Here we are in the garage, and we're going to be sanding the wood. To do that, I'm going to use this sander. There's not really much to it, it just scrapes all the wood off. You know how sanding works. If you don't, go outside. This corner here needs to be rounded, so basically this, for it to properly fit in the cookie tin. Actually, we're getting pretty close already, but that's not bad at all, actually. Wow, I kind of already got that on my first try. The problem with using the sander is all these holes, it keeps getting stuck in these holes and it's absolutely tearing the hell out of the sandpaper. Let's say this is the corner. What's happening is, as I'm moving along, it just gets stuck inside. So basically that's just getting slotted inside of there, thus not doing anything, getting stuck. Bit annoying, but it means we just sort of have to aim around it, which is kind of what I've been doing here, so. Of course, the rest of it can be done by hand, but the idea is that you want to do the majority of the work with the machine, obviously. Tin. Base. How is it going to fit? It doesn't fit, because it's too big. They're not great, but it'll do. And as long as we're able to get it mostly to fit, then I can just hand sand it and it won't really matter anyways, so this whole project was meant to be lower fit anyways. I kind of stuffed up this corner a little bit. I did it too far in. You're meant to kind of finish it off by hand so you can properly control it. Oops. Oh well. You can sort of see the vision here. It's just going to kind of slot in with friction, so we don't really have to worry about really adhering this down, and so you can swap it out with another board and another motherboard anytime you like. That's getting a bit wrecked on the edge there. Jeez, wow. Well, do you remember what I said about adding in the little finger hole to make it easier to get out? Yeah, it's a little too late for that now, and this thing is stuck in here. I have severely bent the tin and also crushed my fingers trying to get this thing out. It's not coming out. Hold on, it's almost out. So I really should have put in the finger hole much sooner, because yeah, this is like never going to be coming out. Oh well. I guess we start screwing things in then? Alright, so here we are with the cookie tin PC in the case with the board on the bottom, which I can't get out. And as you can see, this pretty much fixes all of the issues with any metal conductivity on the bottom, because it's just a solid piece of wood on the bottom. It's still not exactly high enough for the ports. I really wish I did the ports lower, but yeah, a bit too late for that now. Still some tweakings I need to do. I've really bent that trying to get the board out, but that's not going to happen. I can bend that in shape. But of course, when I go to screw it in, I can always like put some washers or literally anything underneath and it can stay up like that. So we'll figure it out, but yeah, that's getting closer to completion. Solid. With the board now inside of the tin, against my will, it's time to screw it in. Of course, I didn't do this properly either, and I pretty much just used whatever screws I found laying around the house. So, without further ado, let's get screwing. Wait, what the fuck? Alright everyone, it's been a while, it's getting dark, it's getting cold, but here I am with... Okay, you're not going to see anything, but you could hear the cookie tin PC, but I'm on a quest for some screws, and I need, I don't know, this footage is unusable. Alright, so I may or may not need to make some modifications to this board just a little bit. It's all good and all in the way it fits, but it just doesn't go as far as I want it to. Why? Because of two little spots. The little vents for the fans here, the heatsink or whatever, and this corner here with the audio. So, basically, I need to remove some of this, and I need to remove some of this. I'm gonna trim a little bit of this off. This one shouldn't be too hard to do, because I was trying it a little bit off camera. If I just grab one of these little things, and I just bend it that way. Oh, yep. And I dropped it. One fan grill thing, and then we take another one, and we snap it off. Just doing it with my bare hands. There we go. This should make this corner fit in a little bit better. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it does fit in just ever so slightly better. But now this, I am gonna have to take a little bit off of this corner, which should be fine. We only just need to file it down a little bit, and that should be about it. Now, shouldn't be anything too bad. Just go to file down. As you can see, we're getting a little bit more down to the bare PCB just there. Probably not the best for it, but I don't care. Now remember, no traces. It still doesn't fit great though. That's the thing, like it goes in, but it's not as flush as I'd want it to be. Yeah, look at this. It's still like hitting the corner of the tin. And that's pretty much one of the main issues I'm having with this right now. I'm gonna spend some time off camera, I'm gonna figure this out, and hopefully we will get something. Hey. What do you want? What is it? I hear helicopters. They're trying to hunt me down. There's always so many helicopters flying above Adelaide. Like, there's really that much people they're trying to look for? Probably. Who knows at this point? It is literally rattling the roof. I might wait for this helicopter to pass before I start filming. Jeez. Can you hear that? Right now, I'm really getting into the mood of just absolutely brute forcing this, getting it done, because perfection went out the window basically right as this thing started. And it was kind of never the point anyways. So honestly, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna mush everything together, finish this off in the most jank way possible, and we're gonna get this thing done, finally. Hey, you know the people who didn't like the ASMR segment in part 2? Well, yeah, it's back. Haha. Look, in the words of Tom York, you can try the best you can, you can try the best you can, the best you can is good enough. Basically, I can plug these ports in, that's all I really care about. I've basically absolutely shoved this thing as far in as humanly possible. This is where it's gonna sit. This is just how it's all gonna sit now. I'm going to take this screw, take my LTT screwdriver, and screw it right into here so it cannot move anymore. This is what we're gonna be committing to. Where am I going to put the charger? I don't know, and I don't care at this point. In part 1 of the Cookie Tin PC, you might remember the board PC, what this originally was. Turns out I didn't use any of these holes. I used these big boy holes that part of the chassis would go into. So, we're going to replicate it. We're going to go straight into these holes. These holes aren't designed for it. It could short something out. We don't know. That's the fun of it. But I just need something to hold this all in together. And then maybe tomorrow I'll go to Bunnings and get some screws that can fit in there. We have the point marked out. We have point number 2 marked out. Just a little bit. I know what you're thinking. Frog, why are you doing anything the way that you're doing it? Good question. Next? Oh, see, look at that. It's working. It's working. So now it's time to put the board back in. Okay. Look at this. Look at this jank. You know, if I just went and 3D printed a housing for this would have been so much easier and so much better. Well, aren't I glad that you said that past me? Because now I get to tell you about the sponsor of this video, PCBWay. Instead of trying to hack into a cookie tin, trying to make a PC case out of it, why don't you just 3D print one from PCBWay? You can drag and drop your 3D files right in and select what materials you want it printed as. It's easy, you just chuck them your files and some money, and then they throw your part right back at you. But what if you don't want something that's 3D printed? Well, they also do CNC machining and, of course, custom printed PCBs. So if you want to create a better project than this Cookie Tin PC, check out PCBWay using the link in the description below. Oh, look at this. Look at this. It's going in. Look at that. Oh, on a little bit of an angle, but I think that's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's in the tin. It's screwed into the tin. The Cookie Tin PC is actually secured in the tin. Can we believe it? At least for now. These are the 2 temporary screws. I'm going to go to Bunnings and find some smaller screws that I can just screw directly into here. I'm not going to use the original PC screws because they're flat on the end. They're not really designed for going straight into timber. It's sitting in. We can do some more prototyping and we're going to figure out where everything else is going to go. Like power. You know what? Power could very well jam into here. We don't know, but that's what we're going to know. We're going to find out the answers to all of our questions. And these 2 screws are the things that are gonna get us there, alright?
Turns out I didn't even need to go and buy any screws because we just so happened to have some laying around the house. So, of course I screwed them in. The screws were slightly too big for the hole, so it did kind of create some issues while screwing in the motherboard. For example, the motherboard would start riding up the thread of the screw, kind of making it bend a bit, but with a bit of force, everything just kind of worked somewhat okay at best. Apparently. So now that we have the motherboard screwed in, I've got these other parts here that I'm going to start focusing on. So first priority here is to take this SSD and screw it down into place. That should be pretty simple, you know, it's 2 screw holes, ready to go. I do want to also make it so that I should be able to just easily be able to pull out the SSD and swap in a new one whenever I want. So, I mean, once it's screwed in, there's like 3 screw points. Actually 4 technically if you really count all these. Next up, we have the Wi-Fi card, which should be pretty simple. Still don't know what I'm going to do about the antenna situation though, but that's can just wait till later. I'm pretty much just going to plug this in and then screw it down. So then it sits and then we can use Wi-Fi on this thing. And then we got to figure out power. Unfortunately, I really wanted power to go right here, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's just not long enough, the cable. So I'm going to either have to jam it in the side of here, which is looking a little less likely. Either way, I'm going to have to drill out a hole, or it's going to have to go on the side, which I really didn't want to happen, but might just have to happen, so. And then this is going to be a little bit difficult, the on-off switch. A really nice spot for it to go would be right here. I'm thinking if I screwed in this side, made a hole, and then maybe put something soft between the 2 and then screwed it together. But then there's also nothing on this side to screw it on, so you'd only have one side screwed on, which would be kind of bad. Let's start with something easy, the SSD. I'm just going to plug this in real quick just to make sure everything's all aligned. So look at this multi-finger action, right? We have to manually hold the screw. We have to hold this piece here, and then we just need to put it in. Okay, that seems to be pretty stable. So now, what is the SSD plugging experience like? You'll have to aim that. And look at that, I can push it in with 1 finger, release with 2. I completely forgot there's actually another really easy component that I can knock off the list and that I actually kind of need to get done. That's the fan. Yes, the fan needs to be screwed down, and that's a pretty easy one. Okay, first of all, I've absolutely bent the hell out of this tin doing that. This tin is so bent anyways at this point, it like doesn't even matter. These gold screws match the tin absolutely perfectly. They look incredible. That looks actually sweet. This is definitely starting to come together. A solution. I'm gonna route it around the fan and I'm just gonna absolutely jam it into the side there. We're gonna put a hole right here. I could use a drill bit, but we're gonna do this the hackiest way possible. Well, it bent the pins again. Remember how we unbent those pins and we snapped them off? Yeah, that was all for nothing. But also, it might not be all for nothing because that might actually be making us more room for the power thing. This is just the dumbest, crappiest, and worst solution I've ever come up with for anything. See that? Yes! It's visible! Hold on. Oh no, okay, the problem is, when I'm trying to push it, it's getting pushed back into there. There's a light. There's a light. There's a light. Hold on. Unplug. It's enough. It's just barely enough. You have to sort of hunt for it a little bit. Plug it in. You can see the light. You can see the light. Ah, you can see it. Barely. The cookie tin PC has met its minimum viable completion. It's fully operational with the lid on. Basically, I can have it powered up, I can have stuff plugged into it, lid on, just running. After about 3 years of starting this project, it has finally reached its minimum completion. Oh my god. Alright. I need to test this out and see if it works.
Look at how this is sitting. I may or may not have made this thing kind of actually not too bad to plug in. Watch. That's a perfectly normal plug-in. That's kind of sweet. Look at this. And in we go, boom. It just works. It literally just works. This is absolutely incredible, and it's just jammed in there with friction. And that's all it needs. It doesn't need anything more than that. Yeah, no, I'd consider that installed. I mean, it can go lower, but you don't really want it to go lower. Let's get this thing turned on. Ladies and gentlefolks, here is the PC in the tin. I have the cookie tin PC plugged into my monitor, my keyboard plugged into it, and I have a wireless mouse plugged into it. The MX Master 3S, because this is the only thing I could find. It's a little bit too bougie for the cookie tin PC, but honestly, the way the metal shines, you know what? I think it kind of matches. It looks nice. I think there's nothing else left to do but to just turn it on. Now, I still haven't found a solution for this, but at least I'll be able to close the tin while it's all running perfectly sealed because this power cable has now been routed. You ready? Let's go. Oh, it still turns on. Good. Oh, it's booting. It's booting. Oh my god. Tin on. Seal this up. It's turning on. Oh my god. Alright, let's turn the MX Master mouse on. Okay, we got mousing. We're in. The cookie tin PC is running right now. I can feel the fans. The ports are all plugged in. I mean, I'm not really doing anything right now, so temperature-wise it seems to be fine. This is with it completely sealed. Now, since part 2 of the cookie tin PC, I've stopped using spec heat because it's the same people who make CCleaner, and CCleaner is a bit meh. Fans are getting pretty loud, actually. Let's look up spec heat. Oh, 61 degrees. That's not even doing anything. It's not the worst, so the cooling is, well, working for the most part. It's mostly just a blower style fan anyways. It's probably sucking in air through the ports here, or something, who even knows. Wow guys, I have this slight inkling that speedtest.net wants me to install Google Chrome. I have this slight feeling that they want me to install Chrome. I wonder what that could be. Anyways, I've mounted the antenna through the fan into the top here, and I want to see if that gives us some good results. Let's find out. Test that speed. Oh. 2 megabits per second. Well, it's usable. Barely. Actually, not really. What about upload? Is it gonna start? Nope. What happens if I don't stick it down? If I just leave it up like that, then what happens? Wow. That's actually usable. Yep, upload's working. Well, I guess we've got technically usable Wi-Fi if we just leave it like that. Well, that settles it. Wi-Fi is officially usable on the cookie tin PC without any mods. Well, that mod being just putting it through the fan vent there and just letting it sit. If it works, I guess. Alrighty-yo, we're installing the Minecraft. And we're at about 65 degrees. Look at it go. It's zooming. Not really, the Wi-Fi is pretty slow because of this thing right here. It's doing it. Oh, look at this. We're in Minecraft.
Alright, so we're going to be gaming on the cookie tin. This here is special because I'm actually recording in 4K 60, which might be a mistake in terms of storage, but you know what? In order to see any of this, in order to have any hope of seeing any of this, we might as well do it. We're up to about 61 degrees. Let's do single player. And we've got to prepare for world creation. Yeah, we're going to do survival world. And we're going to do cookie tin PC. And we're just going to create a new world. And immediately, the tin is shooting up to 78 degrees. Now this computer can pretty easily play Minecraft. I played Minecraft on this thing for years. Let's maybe wind down some of the settings. Let's just take the render distance down, simulation distance down. Okay, yeah, no, we're getting about one FPS, which is really strange for this. I mean, to be fair, I'm playing on stock Minecraft, no sodium or anything. We're getting about 30. Now look, this is more so to test the thermal performance of this computer. There we go, now things are smoothing out a little bit. This is more so to test the thermal performance of this computer compared to the FPS, because we already know that this computer can play Minecraft just fine, but pretty much it's all testing the thermals, and thermals wise, things are looking pretty damn good. We're going up to about 50-60 frames, and we're going to about 77-67. It's fluctuating quite a bit, but the temps seem to be pretty stable. It's not really going above 75 to 80 degrees, which is perfectly fine, I think. Especially considering that we're kind of stress testing it right now, but really this tin, it really isn't designed for gaming, but I think we've kind of proven that the thermals are going to be just fine on this little guy. So all the comments that were saying, hey, cut some holes in the thing, or else the thermals are going to be bad. I think the thermals are doing just fine. As long as it's not thermal throttling, then we should be fine, but I really don't think it is. Let's try doing multiplayer. Alright, so for the next test, we're going to be playing on multiplayer, mostly because it's less stressful on the computer, but we'll get higher frame rates, and also to advertise that you can also join the server if you become a channel member. Starts at $1 a month. Alright, F3 time, and yeah, you can immediately see that the frame rate is a little bit better. Computer's going up to about 78 degrees, getting pretty warm. But I don't think it's going to be overheating anytime soon. Overheating would probably be getting into like the hundreds and stuff. But I think we're okay. 70, 80 is probably about the maximum where you want to be anyways. So I think in terms of thermal performance, this computer's doing just fine. Well, there we go. That is our Minecraft test and our thermal performance test. And clearly, it's handling it just fine. Alright, let's discuss some final tweaks I've made to the Cookie Tin PC. Let's crack this guy open. I swear, honestly, with the amount that I've bent the lid and distorted everything, it's gotten really hard to take the lid off. It's on there insanely snug and tight. You really have to get your fingernails underneath and just tear it off like that. So the three main issues that were left unresolved were the SSD, the networking, and the power button. And I can tell you right now, I've found really good solutions for one of them. Just one of them. The rest are all compromises. Let's go to the best solution here, the SSD. This guy was all moving around and would actually unplug if you shook it in the right way. Now, I just took the screw in this washer and it's not going anywhere. So that's a pretty simple solution, and if you want to swap out drives, it's easy. One screw, pull it out, put the new one in, screw it back in. Done. Very easy. Of course, I did want like a slide-in solution that you could just easily do at any time, but you know what? This is still fine. It's just one screw. It doesn't matter too much. It's still easier than most computers out there. Number two, probably the worst solution here. You can see the networking. It just kind of wraps around everything. Slightly cable managed. See, it goes around where the battery housing used to be. Sits underneath here, sits underneath the heat pipe, which I don't know how good that'll be for the cables, especially this one, which we'll get to. And it just kind of sits out here, and you can pull it out and have your Wi-Fi. It's not like a permanent fixed thing, but you can move it around and get the best signal. Yeah, it's a solution. It's not a good one, but it works, as we tested just before. And finally, the power button. I really wanted to find a really good solution for the power button. I wanted to put it right here. I wanted to have an external button right here that you could press. I couldn't find the right things at the time, and I just kind of want to get this project done. I tried to disassemble some TV remotes and use the power buttons from them. I also tried jamming it in here and trying to use the outer shell to press it, which worked in testing, but I couldn't really find a good permanent solution for that. So instead, I did the dumbest solution known to man, but at least it works. So I plugged in the power, routed it underneath the heat pipe, which again, I don't really know how good that'll be for the ribbon cable. Maybe it might melt it. Whatever. And I've then mounted it right here to the board. It's only screwed in with one screw because it only has one screw hole and the other one's sitting underneath the motherboard. Pretty much the idea of this is that to turn on the PC, you just press it like that. And you know what? I can confidently press this button and know that the PC is actually going to turn on because I can feel it press. Not a perfect solution, but it's a solution. And you know what? That's good enough. That's the spirit of the Cookie Tin PC. Just throw it all in here and now it's a desktop. And you know what? The best part of it all is that this video has taken so long that I now get to say that this power button is still a better power button than on the new Mac Mini. We did it! We did it! We did it!
If I released this video any sooner, I wouldn't have been able to make that joke, but now we can. Okay, look, the Mac Mini power button is still technically better than this since you don't have to rip it apart to turn it on every time, but come on, it's funny to make fun of. I just already know there's going to be a bunch of comments comparing this power button placement to the new Mac Mini that just got announced. Hell yeah. I mean, that's kind of really what this whole thing is, isn't it? It's just basically turning a laptop into kind of like a Mac Mini. Little, small desktop computer. And also, when you compare it to the size of the original laptop, it's definitely an improvement. One thing you might notice is that there's a bunch of stickers on the top. I actually collected a bunch of stickers and put them on the top of the laptop. This Core i5 sticker did actually come with the laptop and originally was right here, but I put it up here. But the thing about this laptop at this point is that there's no Core i5 in it. There's nothing left, it's just the shell. Also, the fact that these crappy parts used to be a $600 laptop is just straight up embarrassing, honestly. I feel that this shell loses the right to have these stickers. And you know who gains the right to have these stickers? That's right, the Cookie Tin PC. So I'm thinking I might actually transfer the Intel stickers over. I like the look of these stickers better, but this is the correct sticker for the processor that's in there. Look, I'm gonna be real with you, I'm not the biggest fan of Intel stickers. I always like, you know, ripping them off, but I think it gives it a sense of legitimacy. There we go. This sticker comes off nicely. These 10th gen Core i5 stickers are just, yeah, not good. There we go. Boom, Intel Core i5. Yeah, we'll go with that. In terms of how this project turned out, I really think, again, I really wish I could have done these two better, but let's be real, it gets the job done. And that's the whole point of the Cookie Tin PC. You could just take off the lid, boom, I want to upgrade the RAM, and you could just do it. You could just take out the RAM, you could do whatever you want. And there we have it. At long last, we have finally finished the Cookie Tin PC. We are done. I tore apart this laptop back in July of 2021, just 1 month after I started this YouTube channel. I started filming part 1 of the Cookie Tin PC in December of 2021, so pretty much this project has been going on for the entirety of Frogfoduck's existence. And here we are. It's finally finished. It kind of feels a little bit unreal to me that this is finally done and that we're going to be moving on to some other projects now. And for that, I do have something in mind. I honestly just want to give my support to all the people who have watched over the years, the people who have been watching since part 1 of the Cookie Tin PC, and all of the people who asked when the next part is coming out, when, you know, it took me ages to get every single part out. It's not going to take another 1.5 years like it did last time. I also want to give a special shout out to all the channel members who have supported me through all this. I began channel memberships shortly after releasing part 2 of the Cookie Tin PC, and here we are at part 3 with over 60 subscribers, some of which are paying $50 a month. Australian dollars, of course, but still quite a bit. But honestly, in general, I didn't think I was going to get even more than 10 subscribers, so kind of mind-blowing. And of course, special shout out to PCBWay for sponsoring this mess. Thanks, guys. So yeah, that is the Cookie Tin PC, and my name is Frogfoduck. You can say that however you want, I really don't care. New videos whenever I like. Consider becoming a channel member like all these people on the screen have. You get some bonus videos, exclusive peeks at upcoming videos, custom Discord server roles, and also your very own Minecraft server, all starting at $1 a month. There are other tiers as well, depending on how much you want to support me, but yeah. Thanks, guys. And that's about it. We have reached the end of the Cookie Tin PC saga. That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.